Trump continues to push for Greenland to join the United States, European leaders have spoken out against this idea. Greenland and Denmark have seen mass protests. My name is Albina Pidhirnyak, more news coming up. A large protest took place in Denmark's capital, Copenhagen, against Donald Trump's statements and policies about the possible annexation of Greenland.
Responsibility to shape the future of the Arctic.
السنين وصل وين أصدقائي السن أتاكسمو بطاق هناك Inuit Fællesforeningen for Grønland har brug for støtte og føler sig utrygge. Følg anvist, at der slår herfra.
Meanwhile, Trump is not listening to Europeans and is even issuing ultimatums.
A 25% tariff, which is, by the way, about 7 times more than they would have to pay by raising their drug, like 7 times. This wasn't like a little bit more, 7 times more. And I may do that for Greenland too. I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that. I'll give you a little, I'll take you out of that. In fact, that'll end up being the story. But actually, this is a much bigger story because we're reducing healthcare by numbers that you haven't seen.
On Saturday, US President Donald Trump said he plans to impose trade tariffs on several European countries because of their position on Greenland.
These tariffs will stay until there is an agreement on the full purchase of Greenland. The United States is ready to start talks immediately with Denmark and or any of these countries. We have protected them for decades, and now it is time for Denmark to pay back. World peace is at stake. China and Russia want Greenland, and Denmark cannot stop it. Only the United States under Trump can do this successfully. No one will touch this land because US and global security are at risk.
15 German soldiers have arrived in Greenland. This is part of an operation to show support for Denmark and help protect Greenland. The move is meant to send a message that Europe will not allow pressure or claims on Greenland.
Today, German military aircraft arrived at Nuuk Airport. The German military aircraft have now reached the largest city in our country. The countries that have declared participation in a military operation in Greenland are France, Sweden, Norway, Germany, the United Kingdom, and the Netherlands.
French President Emmanuel Macron responded to Trump's threats. He said intimidation will not work and pressure on NATO partners is unacceptable.
France is committed to the sovereignty and independence of nations in Europe and elsewhere. This guides our choices. It underpins our commitment to the United Nations and to its charter. It is on this basis that we support and will continue to support Ukraine, and that we have built a coalition of the willing for a robust and lasting peace to defend these principles and our security. It is also on this basis that we decided to take part in the exercise organized by Denmark in Greenland. We fully assume this decision because security in the Arctic and at the outer edges of our Europe is at stake. No intimidation or threat will influence us, neither in Ukraine, nor in Greenland, nor anywhere else in the world when we are confronted with such situations. Tariff threats are unacceptable and have no place in this context. Europeans will respond in a united and coordinated manner should they be confirmed. We will ensure that European sovereignty is upheld. It is in this spirit that I will engage with our European partners.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that London's position on Greenland is clear. He said Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark and its future must be decided only by the people of Greenland together with the Danish authorities.
Our position on Greenland is very clear. It is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and its future is a matter for Greenlanders and Danes. We have also made it clear that Arctic security is important for all of NATO, and allies must do more together to counter the threat from Russia in different parts of the Arctic. Using trade tariffs against allies who help ensure NATO's collective security is absolutely wrong. We will, of course, discuss this directly with the US administration.
Sweden said it doesn't accept any pressure and will not allow itself to be blackmailed. It stressed that all issues related to Denmark and Greenland can be decided only by Denmark and Greenland themselves. No outside power has the right to interfere or issue ultimatums.
We will not allow ourselves to be blackmailed. Only Denmark and Greenland decide matters concerning Denmark and Greenland. I will always defend my country and our allied neighbors. This is an EU issue that concerns many more countries than those currently mentioned. Sweden is now holding intensive talks with other EU countries, Norway and the United Kingdom, about a joint response.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen also shared her position. She stressed that territorial integrity and sovereignty are basic principles of international law and cannot be changed.
Territorial integrity and sovereignty are fundamental principles of international law. They are essential for Europe and for the international community as a whole. We have consistently underlined our shared transatlantic interest in peace and security in the Arctic, including through NATO. The pre-coordinated Danish exercise, conducted with allies, responds to the need to strengthen Arctic security and poses no threat to anyone. The EU stands in full solidarity with Denmark and the people of Greenland. Dialogue remains essential, and we are committed to building on the process begun already last week between the Kingdom of Denmark and the US. Tariffs would undermine transatlantic relations and risk a dangerous downward spiral. Europe will remain united, coordinated, and committed to upholding its sovereignty.
Meanwhile, US House Speaker Mike Johnson said that what Trump is doing about Greenland is a big chess game and that the American president is a great grandmaster.
I don't foresee military intervention in Greenland. It's a small population of people, and I think diplomatic channels is the way to go, and I think the president's appointment of an envoy, recognizes that.
So should we not pay attention to the president's threat to use military action?
No, we should pay attention to his words, but I think people are heeding that. I've noted that the UK and some of our native allies have people there now. Maybe that was the point. Maybe that all of our friends and allies around the world have recognized anew the importance of that geography and that placement, and hopefully we can all work on that together.
So was that the plan all along?
I don't know. The president is playing chess, as we say, so we'll see. I don't know. I haven't discussed that specific issue with him. I do talk with him frequently, sometimes multiple times every day. But we have a lot going on right now, so that's just one small piece to a larger puzzle.
While a real crisis is growing in Europe and it is time to unite, there are still voices that continue to repeat pro-Russian narratives.
Well, there should be a man on his feet who can find his way around the tens and hundreds of billions here, but I would still be one, so I'm finding my way here. However, I can tell you that so far, according to Brussels' own records, the Europeans have spent 193 billion euros to support Ukraine. The case of the Americans is a separate item, but they have more sense than us. They got out at the right moment. I don't know if they have fully recouped themselves, but I think, knowing them, that they are. I don't think they will lose out on this. Undoubtedly, the previous Democratic Biden administration gave a lot of support, but the current president stopped it, they got out of it, and started collecting the money back. The Europeans are not on this path. We tend to ignore the rules of common sense, and the leaders in Brussels are providing financial support to Ukraine continuously, almost unconditionally. They say, "Oh, we give as much as we need," and the Ukrainians are not crazy to jump aside. Well, if they give as much as they need, then they ask. In fact, I say that they rather demand me from time to time. The tone is a knife opener. Well, back to the numbers. So they smoked 193 billion euros. Hus! Of course, part of this is a loan, but everyone knows that Ukraine cannot repay this loan in the stinking life. But that is gone. Now,
Germany's foreign minister said that Europe understands the threat it is facing. He said he believes that Witkoff and Kushner will travel to Moscow to put pressure on Putin.
For us, one thing is clear without any doubt. Only when the pressure on the Kremlin is great enough can we expect Putin to be genuinely willing to negotiate. I also underlined this on Monday and Tuesday in the talks in Washington, where, by the way, this assessment is shared. It is important that the US continues to bring its weight to bear in order to get Putin to negotiate. And that's why I also welcome the fact that the American Special Envoy Witkoff is soon to travel to Moscow again. At the same time, work on robust security guarantees for Ukraine must be continued. We do all this together with our international and European partners. It is good that we in the Transatlantic Alliance keep an eye on the essentials and take the threat posed by Russia seriously. In Europe, in the entire North Atlantic, and in the Arctic region, which is becoming increasingly important for our common security.
Ukraine cannot win the war because it is fighting to survive, Italy's defense minister said. According to Guido Crosetto, Ukraine's real victory is that the country is still standing.
Just under 20%. From 2022 to date, Moscow's unstoppable offensive has grown by 1.5 points in percentage, at the cost of 1,000 deaths a day. Ukraine cannot and will never win the war. Ukraine is trying to survive. Ukraine's real victory is to still be standing today.
Ukraine is going through very difficult times, but we remain strong. Thank you to everyone who supports us. Glory to Ukraine.